If you're new to this channel, you may consider subscribing and hit the bell icon so that you continue to receive the updates. Please share it with all others who might benefit. Let's get started. So in this video, I'm going to address a very common question. If you are studying data science, then one of the concerns you would always face is, where do you get the genuine data sets from? Because whatever you learn, you want to bring it to practice. And is there a place where you can find good data sets to work with? I think if you've tried on your own also, you'd find out that the place is quite popular that's known as Kaggle. And that would probably be the default option anybody would suggest you. But what they don't tell you is that how do you find the relevant data sets here? And that's what essentially we're going to cover in this video. So we're going to show it to you right from scratch, assuming as if you don't know anything about Kaggle. And even if you know about Kaggle, you've seen the interface, you have an account here as well, you still might not be very clear about how you find the right data sets and how do you utilize what Kaggle wants to help you with while you're looking for the data sets. First of all, signing into Kaggle is very easy. If you have a Gmail account, you can sign in using a Gmail account very conveniently. So I'll just click on sign in here and you can see it gives you multiple options. You can use your own email or just Gmail. I would say this is the easiest way. We already have a Gmail account and we're going to sign in with that. Now, once you sign in, it takes you to your home page where it kind of shows you a scorecard and all, but we will directly go to the dataset tab here. There are other options as well, but we'll click on datasets and it has a search bar that's visible. Now, if you click on it, it'll show you what all you've searched in the recent past. But if you're doing it for the first time, obviously this would be blank for you. Now, you just need to think about which area interests you the most. So for example, you may be interested in something to do with, let's say, movies. So you can search movies here and hit enter, right? You can see that it found about 4,280 datasets. And this is where I was talking about it. You can't be examining all 4,280 datasets. It will take a lot of time. It has some way of sorting these though. It says it has sorted the datasets by hotness. What does it mean? The dataset is engaging and is kind of actively accessed by the user. So Kaggle has its own way of assigning a hotness score. But it also has a couple of other options. For example, we can choose the one which has been voted the most, or we can try the newest datasets or the ones which have been recently updated, and usability. Now, if you see, this usability is visible here as well. So this usability is Kaggle's way of evaluating a dataset based on the completeness. I'll show you what it means, and it's a very important aspect to look at when you're searching for datasets. For example, this appears to be the data that is highest rated on hotness, and that's why it's on top. But its usability is only 8.2. When you hover your pointer here, it says the documentation for this dataset is almost complete, but is missing data collection source. When you're contributing datasets to Kaggle, when somebody's uploading a dataset to Kaggle, it asks to fill certain pieces of information. If people leave those blank, it kind of gives it a relatively poor score. On the other hand, the second dataset that we have here, it says this dataset is well documented, overview is provided, files are in machine-readable formats, and code examples are available in the kernels. So you may want to consider usability first, and let's say we click on this dataset now. Now you can see that about 1,626 codes have been submitted for this data, which means people have worked on this dataset. And one of the reasons why you want to be on Kaggle is because you want to learn from others. You want to see what others have done. That is the biggest takeaway. So let's click on the codes. And if you're choosing to work on a problem, what's wrong in looking at some of the work that's already available? Now you can see it's already again sorting this by the hotness, but we may want to change this to most votes. So first we checked for usability, then we are sorting it by the most votes. What does it mean? Most votes simply means that this is the top rated solution that people who have accessed this data set have reviewed and liked. So it's kind of a validation. If you're learning, if you're trying to see what others have contributed to, you may want to go to the most voted solutions, maybe a couple of these. Now, if you click on this, you can see this was updated about 3 years ago. 163 people have commented on this. And let's just click on this and see what does it have to offer, right? So this would be the kind of code that this person has created for this data. This is somebody's work that you're seeing. And it would talk about all the process, all the steps that have been followed. It shows you the raw code. It also kind of tells you what's the potential of the data. So it's always worth spending some time on the existing solutions if you're trying to solve a problem, because that will give you good tips to start with. If somebody would have done a model here, that would also show the model performance. We can go down and try to find out more information. In this case, this person has just posted a meme at the end. That's what is visible. But overall, whatever work has been done is kind of well documented here. You just need to have a simple Gmail account to be able to access Kaggle. Then you go to datasets. You may want to look at the usability because that talks about the completeness of the data, essentially focusing on the metadata, information about the data, where it came from, whether the features have been defined properly and things like that or not. And then you can go to the code section and within the codes, you can always sort them by the most voted. You may also, if you're interested in reading the comments, you may want to look at what people have talked about, how people have appreciated. We are not going very instance specific because this was a random choice that we chose to pick up. But if you're seriously interested in learning data science, you can't avoid data sets, right? So you have to access data sets. And currently, Kaggle is the best place to look for data sets. I just showed you a method that might help you further. So now once all these checks are in place, we can simply come back to the data and download it by clicking here. Once we click here, it starts downloading the data. Filter the data wisely based on the checks that we've asked you to do, and then download the data and you may start working on it.